Hello, I'm Ursula Sadiq, Product Manager with Autodesk Plant Solutions. In this video, I'll show you how to convert two AutoPlant specs, and then use a converted spec to route some pipe in a Plant 3D model. I'll create tool palettes from the converted spec, and place a valve from one of the new tool palettes onto the pipe. In short, I'll demonstrate how a converted AutoPlant spec can behave exactly like a native AutoCAD Plant 3D spec. I'll start by opening the AutoCAD Plant 3D spec editor by clicking the icon on my desktop. In a folder on my system, I have a number of AutoPlant specs, among them CS150 and CS300, that I want to migrate to AutoCAD Plant 3D. Okay, here's how to do it. I pick Convert, and then Specs and Catalogs from the File menu. Then, in the Convert dialog, I click the Add button. I navigate to my folder with AutoPlant specs and select the two specs I want to convert, again CS150 and CS300, and click Open. Next, I click the Browse button and locate the destination folder from my converted AutoPlant specs. I click Convert and watch while the program converts each spec. As we watch, and I've used a bit of video magic to speed up the process, you can see the converted parts roll by. First we see CS300, and then CS150. Only those items listed in orange failed to convert. Green means it's a go. I'm guessing that there was a very high success rate for these specs. Now let's look at the conversion report to see the results. Okay, we have almost 99% and 97% success rates. I'll click on this link to see the report with a bit more detail. This report references a text file, the log text files, with more details on what converted and what did not convert. I'm going to close these dialogues and open the converted specs to take a closer look. First, let's look at CS150. I'll open it in the spec editor. We can look at all our converted components as we scroll through them. Again, we can get back to the report on what was converted successfully and what did not convert. If I click this View Error Log, there are those orange components I could take a look at. I'm going to save this file to my project folder in the spec sheet folder and call it AP underbar CS150 so it's easy to distinguish from my other specs. Okay, now I'll open the converted CS300 spec and go through the same process. I'll click the View Error Log at the top of the part list to see what didn't convert. As you can see, this conversion had an even greater success rate than the CS150 spec. I'll go ahead and rename this spec, again AP underbar CS300, and save it to my project spec folder. Now let's open AutoCAD Plant 3D and take a look at the project that contains these two converted specs. Here's the project. I'll close the project manager to make more room for the model. And then I'll select the converted AutoPlant spec from the spec drop-down list. There they are, APCS150 and APCS300. I'll select the pipe size of 8 inches. This list is the list of all the pipe sizes in the spec. I'll click Route Pipe and begin routing pipe from this converted spec. As you can see, routing from the converted spec is the same as routing from a native AutoCAD Plant 3D spec. Next, I'm going to create tool palettes from my converted spec. All I have to do is click the spec viewer in the ribbon, make sure I have my spec selected. Here's APCS350, 150. Hit the Create Tool Palette button, and there I have a palette with my CS150 converted parts. I can do the same thing for my CS300. Select the spec, press Create Tool Palette, and I have a tool palette with my CS300 converted parts. Now I'm going to select the APCS150 palette and find a ball valve to place on my pipe. I'm going to pick a flange ball valve, and converted flanges will automatically also place with this valve. I've selected my valve and I place it on the pipe and I orient the top works. Now I'll select the valve and right-click to look at the properties in the Properties palette. Once again, you can see that the converted specs behave just like native specs. This component's data came from the spec, just like component data would come from a native part spec. To recap what we've done, we've converted 2 AutoPlant specs, used a converted spec and routed some pipe in a model, created tool palettes from the converted spec, and placed a valve from one of the new tool palettes onto the pipe. Thank you for watching.